So today we're going to touch base on this thing called the gods. The gods is basically, it's at the, if you see the chart, this is the top over here within the box itself. And then center one is the doors, and then below one are all the stars. Okay. So what does it really mean by the gods? So assuming that is a third party, it's a mystery hand that's able to dictate the force. Okay, there's something that we cannot explain, so we use it as they always like to use the word God or heaven to represent. So we will stick to it. We don't want to change because I don't like to change unless it's necessary. So we use the word God to represent the third party or the external forces that we cannot change. Okay, so this is a representation. So is as I mentioned, is at the top. Okay, just bear in mind, if the universal God or these hands are not able to support you, then in any case itself, most of the situation may not be very favorable. But in the event that the mystery hand or the God itself is able to support you, then most of the time it's going to be very favorable. So later on, I will give you some example on that. Okay, so there are total of 8 different gods, or they call it heavens. Okay, in terms of ranking, according to what I see. So there are 8 of them. So you have to remember a few major ones, which is I just repeat. I pronounce it for the sake of the people who do not understand. So this is called Zifu, and then this is which is called the leader, and this is Liu He, which is the partner, and Jiu Tian, 9 heaven, and Jiu Di, 9 earth. So we have the heaven, we have the earth, and we have the Teng Ce under the serpent, and Tai Ying, which is called the darkness. Some people call it the moon. Okay, the dark moon. And this is Xuan Wu, which is a black tortoise. And we have another one, the last one, which is a Bai Hu, which is the white tiger. So just to pay attention to a couple of them, which is this one is called the leader, which is Zifu. In the event that if you see this particular symbol, which is the leader in the chart, just always remember this is a very, very auspicious god. Okay, and we have the Liu He, but the partner also. And then the worst in terms of the god is this is the white tiger. If you see a white tiger in the chart, be extremely careful. Okay, it spells trouble in this aspect. Okay, and of course sometimes we have this black tortoise. Just be careful also. It's also one of the not so great symbol to be associated with. So today we're going to go through every one of the god itself and understand the basic concept. So we have learned the doors, we have the stars, and now we talk about the god. After finishing all these 3 different categories, and we do a bit of revision here and there, after that, we are officially going to start the Qimen Dunjia, the syllabus, the real syllabus. That means we to categorize them into every sector and understand every single step of the category itself. For example, you want to look for career, look for this business, look for marriage. Every sector of them, there is a series of formulas. Okay, so once you get the basic correct, we go into every category, should be more easier. Okay. So now we have this Zifu. Always remember that Zifu is number 1. So when you see this, anything will not be able to outbeat this person, which number 1, the heavenly god above all of the gods. Okay. So it's also represent a boss, somebody who is high management authority, government bodies also. Okay. And somebody who is very, of course, if you see this word leader, it means that this person is a good leadership. You see, automatic association. Okay. Of course, it also stands for valuable. If you want to look for something valuable in the Qimen itself, precious. And it represents nobleman. Nobleman in Chinese we call 贵人. 贵人 meaning that somebody who is able to help you. Okay, let me define this 贵人 very carefully, because a lot of people, when they say, oh, where is my nobleman? Where's my benefactors? They always like to use the reading of their bazi to, or we call it fortune telling, to find who is their nobleman, who is able to help them. Okay, nobleman in this case is not equates to somebody who is rich. It can symbolize more than one person. It can be 5, 10 people. That means you can have multiple noblemen altogether. And nobleman may not be somebody who is able to help you in terms of monetary. It can be somebody who is able to give you advices, give you certain direction, tells you what to do, or tells you what not to do. This is also classified as a nobleman. So be very precise on the definition of nobleman. So when somebody will say, I want to find nobleman, what are they really looking for? Is it somebody who is rich or somebody who is giving you a direction? You see, so a lot of people in the layman, they always mix this nobleman. They hope that this nobleman can make them rich, which is not the case. Okay, so this Zifu also represent a judge and the bank. So sometimes when you want to do a divination, this Zifu can represent a judge, can also represent a bank, depending on the question asked. Okay, that's for the general information about Zifu. And I want to like to emphasize is that all this information are just a summary of the notes. Once you get the hang of all the basic information, go back to the notes because there are actually a lot of information regarding individual category and definition. You see, this is just an overview only. After that, please go back to it and then try to get familiar with it. It takes a bit of time to remember, but just go through it. All right. Next, Liu He we call the partner. So it's also a very auspicious and positive energy god. And this, we have two defined definition which you need to understand. When we look at divination for marriage, we always look for this partner, which is a Liu He. When we look for business partnership, we also look for Liu He. Okay, so in this aspect, when we see a good partner associate with a good door or a good star, it can also mean that the marriage is good. It can also represent this business itself can be very good in terms of partnership. All right. Then we also can represent an agent. That means a person who do business, a middleman or salesperson in this word partner also. That means, for example, if the question is involved related to middleman or salesperson, then we can also look at this partner symbol to take representation. Okay, as we move along, we will give you more example. And also, if this also represent the court of law, evidence, and proof, if there is a court case involved. And sometimes, if we talk about destiny, this for Qimen, if the person has this character of partner, then generally he's a person who is outgoing, easygoing, and very friendly. Okay, so this is for you. Next, we have Nine Heaven. We call it the Jiu Tian. Represent something that's tall, that's high, that is extremely above ground. And in the event that you see this for divination for traveling, this will be pretty good. And in terms of character-wise, if you see a person who have this Nine Heaven, meaning that he or she is somebody who has very high expectation in terms of themselves or other people. So we also can say that this person is a perfectionist. So if you see a person who have this Nine Heaven, I would say that his or her life will have a bit of challenge because when the person is too much in high expectation, whether to themselves or to other people, there will not be any good outcome. Usually there will not be any good outcome. There'll be a lot of problems along the way. Okay, so in this aspect, in the event that if you were to see this nine heaven in any case of health issue, illness, or life and death situation, it can also mean that this person may be going to die or has already died. Okay, so in order to remember this, we always use this thing called the tall buildings for easy references. So we have the tall, we have the the bottom. So now we have the nine earth. Okay, represent calm, represent peaceful. Also represent slow in reaction. And somebody who is not tall, somebody who is stable, firm, and honest in this destiny for Qimen. Also represent low-rise building, flat land. Okay, so to remember, we call it the flat earth. Next, we have this particular snake called the serpent, or in Chinese we call it 藤蛇. So when you see a serpent in the box itself, these are some information. It can represent cunning and a person who is very sneaky. Okay, worries, problems. So it's not a very good god to be associated with. Somebody represent in that force, not real at all. So it can be a fake, fake information, and represent somebody who is confused. Okay, so information may not be accurate. Okay, changes may happen very fast. Okay, just to sidetrack a bit, or when you see this 藤蛇, this serpent, if it is being mixed with this thing called the problem star meaning the one that is got this 天瑞, when serpent merge with this problem, meaning that this person, there is a very high chance that he or she will have mental problem. Okay, this is what we can read based on experience. Okay, if you want to see a person's character, if you have this serpent plus the problem star, then high chance that he or she may have this mental issue. That means his brain may be quite insane. Okay, next we have this tie-in, which is called the darkness. Okay, so something secret, something concealed, something gloomy, dark, okay, hidden. But if you talk about character, gentle in nature, very much quiet and an introvert. But although the person is introvert, he is a very cunning and shrewd person. Okay, so just be careful when you want to see this person who has this tie-in within himself. So we call it the dark moon also. Next, we have Shen Wu, black tortoise. Well, this Shen Wu is a very interesting god to understand. Okay, there is a good side of it. There's also a not so great side about it. So technically, if you talk about Shen Wu, black tortoise, we will be usually we say it's not an auspicious star. It's not an auspicious god itself. So when we see this black tortoise, meaning that there will be monetary loss, not as bad as this bandit, 天蓬, not as bad as 天蓬, but this black tortoise also means monetary loss. Okay, meaning it can be theft, it can be robberies, it can be investment also, and it can also represent fake person, fake information, bribery, and also when you see this person who is a black tortoise in this Qimen destiny, somebody can communicate very well, meaning that this person is very intelligent, can be a very good salesperson, but however, he or she can be somebody very fake also. That means he can be somebody who just want to be friend with you and achieve their objectives, so that to get their things up and running. But behind the scene, they may not like you at all. So we have to be a bit careful on this Shen person, that means the black tortoise. And at the same time, I also find out that people who are under this category of Shen person, they very high chance they are always involved in these activities the business where the network marketing, pyramid selling, multi-level marketing. So I don't know why. It's just that every time when I meet with this group of people, when I see their chart, they tend to be under the category of Shen. So they have the kind of energy to be attracted to this group of people, this group of businesses. You see. But at the same time, it's a bit sidetracked. Shen person, although can be very smart, they can communicate very well. I also noticed something very interesting. They can lose money easily, and they can be cheated very easily also. That means, for example, if they invest in certain things, they think that they're very smart. They very good communication skill, but most of the time, their money they are also lost. I do not know why. It's just that this is always happening under the Shen Wu case. So to remember this, we of course the black tortoise itself with you see the black tortoise, very beautiful crafted piece. Okay, so next we have this Aihu, which is the white tiger. Okay, this is the worst of the god itself. So when you see this god, be extremely careful, very aggressive person or even activity, disaster, injury, conflicts, illness, accident, etc., etc. Is fierce. Okay, just remember it's fierce. When anything related to this, like this white tiger, is fierce. So we will give you some example shortly. Okay, let's move on to the